Barbara Sauces one here to talk about one of those issues that always comes up surrounding wine, and that is how long will an opened bottle of wine last? Well, first of all, there's nothing particularly scientific about it. It's pretty much personal taste. But what I can say is that a lot depends on how it's stored. At the very minimum, once you've drunk as much as you're going to drink out of a bottle, put the cork back in it and stick it in the refrigerator. And let's see what's in mine. I happen to have a few open bottles. We've got a fortified, a sparkling, a couple whites, more than a couple whites, a red, and excuse any kind of less than pristine conditions you might see there. When it comes to reds and whites, you know, I guess the rule of thumb is like 3 to 5 days. Now, as soon as a bottle is open, it's going to start losing its flavor and its aroma, and that continues. You know, it's not that wine that's left over gets bad so quickly, it's just it loses its excitement. And when it comes to reds and whites, whites might last a little less long than reds, marginally, but the reds have tannins which act as a preservative. In fact, with reds, a Pinot Noir, which is a very light tannin red, might last a little less long than a big tannic like a Cab, for example. And these, I can guarantee you, are way more than 3 to 5 days old. You're probably asking, so why am I keeping them around? Well, call me cheap, and I am, but I use them for cooking. And even though they lose their vibrancy, they are still absolutely great for cooking. And I suspect these are at least a week or 2 old. Of course, I always test them first. So, and sure, I've rejected a couple wines for cooking, but for the most part, you know, they're perfectly fine. Just kidding. No, I mean it's not as good as it was when I opened, but oh my gosh, it's perfectly great for cooking. I also am a fan of sparkling wines, and this one I opened yesterday. And the thing about sparkling wines is you're going to lose the bubbles before anything else, so you do have to have a good stopper if you're going to keep it more than, let's say, a day. So, oh well, you know, it sounds promising, but the real test, of course, is the bubbles. And let's see what happens. Ah! This looks great. I think I may be drinking this today in a moment. Well, we also have fortified wines, and because they are high in alcohol and sometimes in sugar that act as a preservative, you can probably keep this for a couple of weeks before you'll notice any kind of difference in the quality. Now, the one wine that lasts even longer I do not have in my refrigerator, and that is a box wine. And it will last like a month because it has that plastic bladder inside the box, and it prevents any of the wine from coming in contact with oxygen, which is really what easy for me to say, deteriorates the wine. So I think I've covered it, and I am perfectly happy to start sipping my day-old bubbly. Cheers!